When we talk about fashion, we immediately think of high-end brands like Chanel, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Dior, Burberry, and many more. But we also have to think about the most popular stores, like Inditex, H&M, Nike, or Uniqlo. The fashion industry is worth $2.5 trillion, which makes you wonder how much the people behind these giants are worth. Most of the brands we love are owned by the richest people in the fashion industry, whether they are the founders, designers, CEOs, or heirs. Even though 2020 has been a hard year for the fashion industry as a whole, with all the lockdowns and stores closing almost everywhere, the wealth of the fashion industry's richest people has grown a lot in the last few months. So, before we start our video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell button. Now, let's find out who the richest fashion people are in 2022. 10. Heinrich Otto Deichmann. $11 billion. If you don't already know this, Deichmann SE is the largest shoe store in Europe right now. In 1913, Heinrich Deichmann, the grandfather of the current CEO, opened a cobbler's shop on the outskirts of Essen, Germany. He was able to grow this business into $1 billion business. Heinrich Otto Deichmann is very rich right now, but money isn't everything to him. He also does a lot of good things for charity, like help with medical care for people in the third world and programs to help the homeless. We guess it's not a bad idea to buy shoes from Deichmann when you need a new pair. 9. Anders Holt Poulsen. $12.4 billion. Anders Holt Poulsen became the sole owner of his company, Bestseller, when he was only 28 years old. Bestseller is an international clothing store based in Denmark that sells clothes from brands like Vero Moda, Only, and Jack & Jones. Almost 30 years have passed since then. In the meantime, Poulsen bought a lot of shares in ASOS and is now one of the biggest private landowners in the UK. That seems like a good way to spend your money. But even if you think it was a lot of luck for him to get this huge amount of money, he might want to give away most or all of it to get his children back. In 2019, a terrorist attack in Sri Lanka killed 3 of his children and hurt him, so remember that money isn't everything. 8. Stefan Persson. $20.7 billion. Carl Stefan Erling Persson is the 84th richest person in the world, according to the Forbes Billionaires list for 2022. The richest person in Sweden right now is the man who used to run the popular clothing store Hennes & Mauritz, H&M. In May 2020, he gave up his position as chairman of H&M and let his son, Carl Johan, run this fast fashion business. In case you didn't know, cause, Weekday, and other stores, Monkey, Arket, and H&M Home are also owned by the H&M Group. The Swedish company already has more than 5,000 stores in 74 countries, but there is still a lot of room for growth, since everyone in the world has probably heard of H&M and would love to wear their clothes. 7. Tadashi Yanai. $29.2 billion. Tadashi Yanai is the richest person in Japan. He started and runs Fast Retailing, which is the parent company of Uniqlo, which is the largest clothing store in all of Asia. Yanai opened the first Uniqlo store in 1984, and there are now more than 2,000 of them in over 20 countries. Helmut Lang, Theory, J Brand, and Gu are some of the other brands that Fast Retailing sells. He started his career at his father's tailor shop on the side of the road. After more than 30 years, his company now makes more than $21.3 billion a year. But he has always shot for the stars, and he hopes that one day Fast Retailing will be bigger than H&M and Inditex. There is clearly a lot of room for improvement. 6. Gerard and Alain Wertheimer. $33.5 billion, each. People have called this pair the quietest billionaires in fashion, and they have a good reason to do so. You probably haven't heard of Gerard and Alain Wertheimer either. But Chanel's mysterious co-owners are the Wertheimer brothers. Alain Wertheimer is the chairman of this famous fashion house, and Gerard Wertheimer is in Switzerland running Chanel's watch department. In addition to their huge fashion business, Gerard and Alain also own a number of vineyards in France and Napa Valley. When you can afford it, there is always room for a new hobby or a nice place to live. 5. Leonardo Del Vecchio. $34.9 billion. Leonardo Del Vecchio, an Italian vision billionaire, is the chairman of eyewear giant Luxottica, which makes and sells more glasses and lenses than any other company in the world. Del Vecchio started Luxottica in 1961. He then bought Sunglass Hut, Ray-Ban, Persol, and Oakley, which you probably didn't know are all Luxottica brands. They also make sunglasses and designer frames for brands like Chanel, Prada, Armani, Versace, Burberry, Dolce & Gabbana, Bulgari, and more. The Italian eyewear conglomerate has more than 70,000 employees and more than 8,000 stores that open every day to serve people who need or love to wear glasses. 4. François Pinault $53.1 billion. Monsieur Pinault is now the honorary chairman of the well-known luxury group Kering, which owns brands like Gucci, YSL, Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen, and Boucheron, as well as highly regarded watchmakers like Ulysse Nardin and Gerard Perigot. But did you know that this family-run business also owns Christie's, one of the most famous auction houses in Britain? Don't forget about his amazing art collection, which has over 5,000 unique pieces by famous artists like Picasso, Matisse, Mondrian, and Koons. In 2005, François-Henri Pinault took over from his father and changed the PPR retail group into the Kering Luxury Fashion Group. If you didn't already know, the Pinault family just gave $113 million to help rebuild the famous Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris after the fire in April 2019. They're always there when someone needs help. 3. Phil Knight $62.2 billion. Phil Knight ran track at the University of Oregon before he came up with the idea for the shoe company Nike. He is also the largest shareholder in the company. In 1964, he and his old track coach, Bill Bowerman, made the first Nike shoes. They each put in $500 to get things going. Back then, the brand was called Blue Ribbon Sports. Nike is the biggest company in the world that makes athletic shoes and sportswear. It has more than 1,100 stores and made more than $44 billion in sales last year. For a $500 investment, that was a crazy return, right? Knight stepped down as chairman of Nike in 2016. He worked there for 52 years, so he deserves some time to enjoy the good things in life. 2. Amancio Ortega $67 billion. Amancio Ortega and his ex-wife Rosalia Mera started Inditex in 1975. He now owns 59% of the world's largest clothing store. The fast fashion Spanish retail giant is best known for its Zara chain, but it also runs other brands like Pull & Bear, Bershka, Oysho, Massimo Dutti, Stradivarius, Zara Home, and Uter. Inditex has more than 7,500 stores all over the world, and Ortega makes more than $400 million a year just from dividends. With his huge wealth, he could do anything, or maybe not. He bought high-end office and retail properties in Madrid, Barcelona, London, and New York with his dividends. 1. Bernard Arnault $180 billion. Bernard Jean-Etienne Arnault is one of the best tastemakers in the world, and he is at the top of our list with an estimated wealth of over $150 billion. In January 2020, the chairman and CEO of LVMH, the largest luxury goods company in the world, briefly became the richest person in the world. This man owns a high-end fashion empire with more than 70 famous brands, such as Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, Moet Hennessy, Bulgari, Marc Jacobs, Hublot, and many more. Only in 2019, LVMH made deals to buy the American jewelry company Tiffany & Company and the luxury hotel group Belmond. About half of LVMH Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton is run by Bernard Arnault. These are the top 10 richest people in the fashion industry in 2022. If you enjoy watching the video, give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon for all the latest updates.